Hey there. In the last video, we talked about content marketing and how to identify your target audience from a very 5,000 foot view, how to go about choosing the kind of content that you should invest your time and money into. In today's video, we're going to go over blogging and specifically why blogging is important, how much you should expect to pay. For right now, I would go off these general numbers that for production time for a blog, you should expect a writer to take 2 to 3 hours. This is for all of the research, all the writing, all the optimization. That cost usually comes out to $275 to $400 for a 1,200 word post. And again, this is optimized from top to bottom. This might sound like a lot of money. In reality, a blog can take you across the customer journey from awareness to consideration and even decision. And writing for the internet today is not just writing creatively. You really have to know what to look for, what you're writing for, and what words and entities to include because you want to get found. So you might be asking, why is blogging important? Well, why should you invest in blogging? The first thing is, as we mentioned before, blogging can be used at all stages of the customer journey. So let's take the example that my car was making noises. The awareness, consideration, and decision need different types of content, and blogging is one of the few content types that can actually hit all of these stages. So if I were to hear something going wrong with my car, what I would do is go to Google and I type in, why is my car making this noise? That's very much the awareness stage. I know I have a problem. I don't know the name. I don't even know how to look for a solution. From there, I would find information to be able to start going through the consideration phase of, okay, so I found that it's my radiator, how to fix your radiator. And if I were a business, I would be putting up blog content about step-by-step directions and how to fix whatever X, Y, and Z might be, because then that's going to give me an in to say, hey, this is how you can fix it, but it's actually going to take you a lot of time, so you should just hire someone. And then that brings us into the decision stage. That's where a company would be able to put in information such as what to look for in a great mechanic. So that's very much the decision side, and that takes us from awareness to consideration to decision. So having someone who knows how to write, having someone with an SEO background who knows how to optimize and bring everything together through content marketing, that's where that cost comes into play. One thing to look out for is that, blogging is easy to get into and has a low cost of barrier. But because of this, the accessibility means that lots of people can do it. And that's why whenever you write a blog post or you publish, it has to be really, really good quality, because otherwise it's just going to get drowned out. You should always be ranking for specific needs of your customers and what they search for. And this is where within the blog writing process, there's a lot of research that goes into it. And make sure that you hire people who allow you to do that, and also repurpose content into videos and links for social media, because that's just going to bring out the value of it to a really good extent and make your investment worth it. So with that, let's actually look at some ways to write great blog post content. First of all, you got to think about the needs of your customers and tie that in service and products that you offer. So when people are online, they're usually asking questions or trying to solve solutions for their problems. What you're able to do is use blogging at the awareness, consideration, and decision phases to interject your solution with somebody's problem. And this is really important for content marketing, because if you want to draft content that generates leads and sales, it really has to live between the needs and the questions of your customers. Next, you want to optimize content for where and how people actually search. What this means is that people consume content in different ways, in different devices, at different times, depending on what they're looking for. For example, if you're looking for food or a hotel after you land on a flight, you're probably looking on your mobile phone. But if you're looking for a major purchase with a B2B company, you're probably looking on your desktop because you're doing a lot of research. So think about how people are searching, not only what they're searching for, but how, and then generate your content around how they consume the content. And what that means is to add a lot of spacing for mobile devices, add larger buttons for maybe desktop, depending on who you're talking to, and also use a cluster model for content planning. What this means is that when you create a piece of content, it's kind of like a hub and a spoke. Create a pillar piece of content, and then create satellite pieces of content to supplement that major blog post that you're trying to rank. Some additional blogging tips is to think about long form content. Really, the amount of words on a page is really how big a canvas is for an artist. So when we talk about word count, I like to think of 800 to 1,000 words as pretty pretty typical. That's vanilla. And the reason why I keep it at that is you want to have a large enough canvas to be able to write and to really create your art. So you don't want your content to be too short, but also you don't want to just drag it out for word's sake. Because again, a small picture on a big canvas looks kind of weird. Because a lot of customers are looking at content on a mobile phone, I always recommend keeping your paragraphs 1 to 2 sentences long. This makes sure that you don't have large blocks of text and that it's easy to use on any device. Include header tags with keywords and also use exact match questions whenever possible. And break up those large blocks of text with images or H2 tags and insert bullet points frequently throughout to highlight any kind of specific information you want to convey. So there you go. That's why blogging is important. That's why investing in a good blog post is worth it. Even though the cost may seem high, there's really a lot of work that goes into it. And since blogging is going to be hitting every stage of the customer journey, it's important that you have the kind of research and expertise involved with the production of that content to see the full results.